Ezekiel, do you have your Python environment set up before we start so that we can begin? You can type or you can just unmute yourself. All right, perfect. So we're going to start our lesson now with Ezekiel and Esther. I'm sure all of us have our Python environment set up. So I'm just going to share my screen and then we are going to be moving along with the lesson. All right, the rest who will join in will catch up as we move along. I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I want us to come here, type cmd command prompt, or just open your command prompt if you're familiar with it. And then once you open it, if your Python is installed and then you set up the path environment as we did yesterday, I just want you to type pip install pygame. This is the module that we're going to be using to be building our game. So you need to have it set up. Pip install pygame, and then you press enter. So like you see for me, pygame is already installed. So it's going to show me that. But then if you don't have it installed, it's going to start installing. So once you've done that, can you please comment in the chat box to say your pygame has been installed, or if you're having any problems, let me know. So once you guys tell me that it's installed, then we can continue. Esther and Ezekiel. Once you tell me that you have installed, then we can continue. All right, thank you, Ezekiel. Esther, we're now waiting for you. Once you've installed, we want to go ahead and start. If you're facing any challenges, Esther, you can just let us know. Okay, Esther, please share your screen so that I can see the error that you're seeing. Let me stop sharing my screen. I'll ask you to share your screen so that we can see the error that you're facing so that we can help you. Please share your screen, Esther. Okay, I can see that you're using your phone. If you're using your phone, can you use the link that we sent to you yesterday for building Python? Ezekiel, can you also share your screen so that I can see what your screen looks like? Because the question that you're asking me is very concerning. Yes. Okay, Esther and Ezekiel, are you guys using your phones or your laptops? Okay, both of you are using your laptops. All right, that's good. Have you guys successfully installed Pygame? For us to successfully build the games, you need to install Pygame. Can both of you just share your screen so that we can make sure you guys have successfully installed? I want you guys to share your command prompt where you typed in pip install Pygame so that I can see that you've successfully installed. Maybe we can start with Esther. Esther, maybe please share your screen so that we make sure that everything is in place. Okay, that's fine. Esther says she's using her phone for the Google Meet. All right, that's fine. Ezekiel, is that the same situation with you? If you guys have successfully installed, that's fine. You need to make sure that it's installed so that so that we move on. Okay, James, please increase your screen so that we can see. No, it's fine. Ezekiel, if you're using your laptop, it's okay. That's fine. If it's working properly, that's okay. You don't need to use your phone, but then it's easier if you're using your phone to watch and then you are typing on your laptop. So that's why Esther is also using her laptop or his laptop because it's easier if you can see the code on your phone and then you're typing using the laptop. So you can join with both or you can join with one. Either is still okay. James, have you fixed your error? You can just type in the error that was saying that was being printed out so that we move on. We are losing a lot of time. James, what was the error that you're getting so that we can fix it? We're losing a lot of time. So please type in your error and then we can give you links so that you can be assisted. We are left with only 30 minutes now. All right. Did you make sure that you typed in PIP install Pygame? If it's still not working for you, James, maybe try PIP3 install Pygame. That might work for you. Once it works, okay, it still did not work. Okay, let me just give you a different solution as well. Okay, so for now, James, you can use the online IDE as you have said, so that we do not waste too much time. But please, after the lesson, please feel free to get in touch. We put in our contact details for Danson and I yesterday. Please make sure you get in touch so that we can help you. It's not too much of a big error. It's something that can be fixed. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again so that we can start building our game. All right, I hope you guys can see. I'm just going to minimize everything else that we're not using. So I'm going to close this now. So now I want you to type in IDLE. This should come up if you successfully installed Python. We're going to be using the default Python environment. So once you do that, you click on it and then it should pop up like this. So I'm just going to make it really big so that you guys can see clearly. So it's going to look like this. And then once you've done this, I want you to click on File and then select New File. Then this should come up. This is where we're going to be typing on. Yes, you can use the shell, but then it's not the best to use. I want you to use this. I hope you guys are following. One good thing I forgot to state is please create a folder on your desktop. Just right click, new folder, and then you can just say Python game. This is where we're going to be storing all our files for the game and everything else that we're going to create. So create your folder on your desktop, which is written Python game. So we're going to come back here. We're going to save this file. You can name it anything you want, but make sure then you remember. So I'm going to look for my folder, which is on the desktop, which is this one, which is where I'm going to save my file. And then I'm just going to save it as game one. So you can name it anything you want, but make sure you remember the file, the folder name on the desktop, and then the file name as well. Okay, so I'm just going to check for messages. If we are following, I want you to type yes, so that I know that we're moving together. I just want you to type yes, so that I know we're moving together. Okay, Esther, where are you lost? Esther, where did you get lost? Ezekiel, are you following on the laptop? Okay, Esther. So once you click here, you can just type IDLE, right? Let me type it here. IDLE. So once you type IDLE like this should come out. Like this. And then once you see this, I want you to just click on it. It'll open this window for you. And then once this window opens, you create file, and then you say new file like this. So let me know once you've created a new file, Esther. And then Ezekiel, are we moving together? All right, Ezekiel, where are you lost? Ezekiel and Esther, like Danson said, feel free to tell us where you're lost in the chat box so that we can help you. We want to move together so that you're not left behind. We want to make sure that you guys get the best experience and you understand. Esther, update me if you've successfully opened the Python IDE. And then Ezekiel, where are you now? Okay, well done, Esther. Ezekiel? Okay, Ezekiel, if you're comfortable, it's okay. I think you can unmute yourself and then you can explain what's going on so that we can move together.
I downloaded one, but I'm not sure if it's the correct one.
Okay. Can you log into the meeting using your laptop as well so that you can share your screen and we can help you? If you're using your phone, Ezekiel, you can just use the online editor that we sent yesterday. It's okay. But for your laptop, are you using your laptop right now or are you using your phone? Okay, for your phone, you can just use the online editor. It will be easier. Okay, Ezekiel, please stop sharing your screen and then use that link that James that's just sent. You can use that for your online edit. Ezekiel, please click on that link that has been sent to you. You can use that for this lesson. All right, thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again and then we are going to start. We'll try and cover as much as we can. All right, Ezekiel, I hope you have opened. And then now we're going to start. Let me share my screen again. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. So the first thing that we need to do is to understand the concept of variables. I'm just going to explain that briefly because that's what we'll need to understand. We'll be using a lot of variables when we're building our game. So basically what variables are like a storage unit. You can refer back to it, you can call it back again. For example, if we want to add two numbers, right? We can save one number as A and save another number as B, and then the sum we can call it, say for example here, this can be 6, and then B, this can be 7, and then C can be A plus B. So A is our variable which is storing our number 6, and then B is as good as storing our number 7, and then C is the one that's going to be storing the sum of A and B. So the reason why we're using this default Python IDE is because it's very simple and it's very easy to use. So now, for example, if I say print, so print is Python's way of saying show this. You can print the output. For example, we want to print C, right? Which is A plus B. So now for us to do that, you can save, you can just press Control S, you can save, or you press File and then you say save. So now when we now want to run a program, when we want to run something, you come here where it's written run, you click there, and then you select run module. And there you go. That's our answer, 13. So we can just close this. So here, the concept that I'm just trying to teach you is the concept of variables. So there's a lot of things that you can store in your variables. You can even store names in a variable. You can store your numbers in variables. You can store letters in variables. You can even store images in your variables. So this is the main concept that you will need to understand as we're building our games. Now I'm just going to delete this. So now to build our Python game, the reason why we were installing the Pygame is because for us to be able to build our Python games, we need to import the Pygame module. So to do that, you just type in import Pygame. I hope Esther and Ezekiel, you're following. You say import Pygame. So I'll just add a comment at the top. So to add comments in Python, it's just a simple hashtag. And then you type what you want to type, right? So using comments will help you remember why you did what you did, why you wrote the code that you wrote. It's a very simple way of making sure you remember, so that even after the lesson, you can always come back to your code and then remember why you did what you did. So after you say import Pygame, the next thing that we'll need to do is to initialize the Pygame module. So for you to do that, you just type in Pygame. You just type in Pygame like this, .int, which is initialize. So when you do this, it means you're initializing the module, and then now you can use it for anything that you want to do as you're building your program. I hope you guys are following. Esther and Ezekiel, if you're following, please just type in following in the chat box so that I know we're moving together. Esther, James, and Ezekiel. Okay, Ezekiel, where are you lost? Maybe you can just type in where you are lost so that we can help you. Ezekiel and James, if you're following, please type following. Ezekiel, you said you are lost. Where are you lost? Okay, what are you downloading right now? Ezekiel, what were you downloading? Okay, perfect. Are you still using your phone or you're now on your laptop? Have you started typing this that everyone else is typing? Ezekiel, have you also started typing this? Okay, maybe you can unmute yourself and then we can be able to help you better. Okay, Ezekiel, are you using your phone or your laptop?
My phone.
Okay, if you're using your phone, there's a link, this link here that was sent, right? Can you use this one for this lesson? It will make it easier for you to follow because everything that you will be doing, you will and that you need for this game to work, you will find it online. So I want you to click on this.
Can you send it? Like on the.
Let me just copy here and paste it again. Can you click on that link?
I've clicked
Once
on
you,
it.
okay, it should be looking like this. I'm just going to make this bigger. It should be looking like this. So you see, for example, here, if you just click run, it prints hello world. So most all the modules that you need will be here. So if you are using this, it's still okay. You can still type the code that we were using, right? So this is what it will be looking like if you're using this online editor and on the phone. It's still okay. This is what we'll be using. So I'll also be typing some of my code here. So I'll just copy paste the code that I'm using there, and then I'll type it here so that we can all follow together. Let me do this. I think that way so that you guys don't feel like you are left behind. So I'll do like this. So right. So now once we are here, once you've initialized your Pi game, it means now you can start building. You can start building your game. This is for Esther, James, and Ezekiel. So the next thing you type is, once you do this, now you need to be able to see the screen, to see the window. So for us to do that in Python, you have to initialize your window, which you'll be able to see. So we're just going to create a variable called win, which we're going to say Pygame dot display. This is what's going to help you see whatever you're going to be drawing on your dot set this set mode, right? So now we need to decide on the width height of the screen that we want to build. So you can make it 500 by 500, you can make it smaller. So you need to pass in the different width and the different height variables. So that's what I'm going to do now. Right? So for me, I'm going to make my width 500 and I'm also going to make my height 500. Right? So once you do this, if you run this, it means your window will, for instance, let me just run, control save. And if I run like this, run module, you see, this is what should come out. Esther, if you play, this should come out. And then James and Ezekiel, this should also be the same thing again. So let me just copy this and then paste it there so that we can all move along together. Okay, I'm sorry for that. All right, sorry for that. Let me just make this smaller. So if you click run here, run module, you should be able to see this, right? So for now, as you can see, if you click here, it won't work. We're going to fix that. And then it will come here and says Pi window. So now you just click exit here and then, okay, Esther, where is it saying invalid syntax? Make sure that your code is looking like this. Is it saying invalid syntax when you click run like this and say run module? Is it where it's giving you invalid syntax? Or is it when you click X like this? Because for example, if you click X like this, it should give you an error somewhere. Because this cannot work. It does not work because we haven't initialized it. As you can see, if I'm pressing X, it's not working. Maybe you can share your screen and we can see where it's saying invalid syntax for your laptop so that we can help you. And don't worry if it says invalid syntax, it happens to everyone. Even sometimes when I'm also writing my code, the same thing happens to me. And sometimes it's because maybe you'd have missed full stop or you could have written the wrong spelling. It's okay, it's normal, don't worry about it. And don't be shy, don't be embarrassed. These are things that happen to everyone. Okay, perfect. If it's appeared, that's good. So now we want to name our game. For example, if you see this, okay, right, it's saying Pi game window, but we don't want it to say that. We want to give it something that's more interesting, a more interesting name. So to do that, it's very simple. We just say Pi game dot display. So the display is the one that shows the items that come on the screen. So now instead of saying set mode, we just say set caption. So you'll find that if you want to display items on your Pygame window, you'll then have to use pygame.display. So here we'll just say, for example, I want to call it my cool game. You can call it whatever you want. for example, I want to call mine my cool game. So I'll just say control save. And then when I run now and I say run module, you see, now it's saying my cool game. It's no longer saying Pygame window. I hope we are following. It's now saying my cool game. All right. Are we all following? If you're having any problems, please type in the chat box so that we don't leave anyone behind. We want to make sure that everyone is understanding. If you face any error, no matter how small it is, just type it in the comments, in the comment section under messages here, so that no one can be left behind. Esther, James, Ezekiel, are you following? If you're left behind, just state where you're left behind so that we can help you. Okay, if there are no comments, I'll be assuming that we are all moving well together. If you face an error, make sure you tell us in the comment section. So the next thing that we want to do now is we want to draw something on our Pygame screen. To do that with Pygame now, you need to make sure that you tell it the position where you want to draw your item. For example, let's start drawing a rectangle, right? So it means your rectangle has a position that it needs to be seen on the screen. And these are your X and your Y coordinates. For example, if you're doing mathematics, you know your X axis, your Y axis. So it means our rectangle or whatever shape, you can build any shapes, but we're going to be using the example of a rectangle. It needs to have a position. So that means for X, just the position of 50. For Y, let's also give it a position of 50. And then now for our shape, we also need to give it a width and a height, right? So we'll also just type that with maybe we can give it a width of 40, and then maybe a height of let's give it a height of 60. And then we also need to give it a velocity. So a velocity, this is how fast your shape will move, how fast or how slow your shape will move. So I'll just give it a velocity of 5 so that it doesn't move too fast. And then at least it also won't move too slow. All right. So once we've given it, so let me just comment here so that we don't forget. So I'll just say drawing our shape and giving it its attributes so that we don't forget, right? So the next thing now that we're going to do is we're going to create a while loop. A while loop. So this is where we are going to be checking for all the events that are going to be happening as we're building our game. So this is basically the main loop of our game, where we're going to be checking for the different events that are going to be happening. So if you don't understand, well, what while loops are, so basically we're saying, for example, um, if we're saying while it is during the daylight, you know, you can go to the shops, but then the moment it gets dark, you can't go to the shops anymore, which is basically what we're trying to do here with the main loop, which is our while loop, to say, well, for example, a person is playing the game, the person can keep playing the game. For example, for us, we're going to use a variable called run, right? So we're going to say run equals true. So this variable means that while run is true, our person can keep playing the game, right? I hope we are all following. If you're not following, please just let us know in the comment section. So then now we're going to create our while loop, right? So we're going to say while run, like that. So because we don't want our game to move too fast, we'll just give our game just a bit of a delay so that it doesn't move too fast. So we'll just say pi game. What time, right? Delay. This will delay our game a little bit so that it doesn't move too fast, and then we can see what's happening. And then now we're going to write our code so that we can be able to play the game, and then we can also be able to press the exit button that wasn't working previously. So we're going to say for event in pi game dot event dot quit, right? So remember what we were saying, that for us to check any events that's going to happen in our game, we're going to be using this while loop, which is why we're saying for events. There you go. The spelling errors I was talking about, you need to make sure that your spellings are correct. Otherwise, you will also get some errors. So now we're saying for event in pygame.event.get, because we're saying in our while loop, that's where we're going to be checking for any events that are going to be happening during our game. So here, and we're going to say if events dot type, right, pygame dot quit. This means if a person clicks that quit button that wasn't working, they should then be able to what? To end the game. So we'll say run. Sorry. Run equals false. Remember that run equals true here, where if a person is playing the game, it will continue moving. So now once a person presses quit, it means the game will need to stop and the person needs to be able to quit the game. So, and then we can just say pygame dot quit. So this means that if we press the button, now we should be able to close the game. So this is very simple. It's very simple. So now we're just going to run, right? So you need to make sure, for example, here, you need to make sure that you pay attention to your variables, that you use the same variables everywhere, and that your spellings are correct. So I'm just going to say save. And then I'm going to say run module, right? Remember at that time we couldn't press that X to close. Now we can press it. Because why? We've clicked that X so the game can stop and it goes away, which is what we were initializing here. So before we move forward, I'll just ask if we are still following James and Ezekiel. Are we still following? Please use the comment section. I think we can add 15 more minutes so that we can complete today's tutorial. Let me see who's still in the lesson. Esther and James. Esther and James, are you following so that we can move forward? Okay, Esther is following. Thank you. All right. James, I also hope you're following. So now what we want to do is we now want to draw our rectangle, right? We need to make sure we draw something. So to draw our rectangle with Pygame, we've got a line of code that we write, which is called draw. So now if you want to see anything, we need to draw. We need to draw it. So I'm just going to come here since it's inside our for loop. I'm just going to say Pygame dot draw. Make sure you pay attention to your spellings. Okay, James is also following. Python.draw dot rectangle. So now with PyGame, right? When you want to draw anything, you need to indicate the window, the color, and then also the dimensions of your items. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to say win, right? And then I'm going to place a comma. And then now I need to indicate my colors. So the colors that we use are RGB, which is red, green, blue. So if you want a red, you put your 255. So I think maybe I'll put it here, and then I'll just comment colors used are red, green, blue, red, green, blue, which is RGB, right? Which is basically your 255, comma 255, comma 255, or comma 0. So for here, I'm going to say win, right? Then I'm going to type in my colors. So I think I'm going to draw a red one. So we'll just say 255, comma 0, comma 0, right? And then after that, we also need to put in our shape, size, and coordinates, which is your X. Remember the X variables and the Y variables that we created at the top, which are these ones. So it's going to be your X, your Y, your width, and your height. So one important thing that we need to know is when we're using Pygame, for us to draw anything on the window, is we need to be able to display it, right? So for us to do that, we are going to type in Pygame. So for us to do that, we're going to type in Pygame so that we can be able to see what we are drawing. So you say Pygame dot display dot update, right? Mhm. So once you do this, I want you to save, and then let's try running and let's see if we get an error or not. There you go. Can you see now my rectangle is appearing on my screen like so? So I hope everyone has their rectangle appearing. Let me come back. Do you guys see your rectangles? Okay, yes. Esther, James, and Dancing, do you guys see your rectangles? Um, so the next thing, if you can see your rectangles, the next thing we want to do is how to make our rectangle move. All right, are you guys following? I just want you to say following and then we can move forward. Okay, Esther says she can't see her rectangle. Are you following? Is your code like mine? Maybe I can help. Maybe you missed it somewhere. Did you type this? It's very important for you to type pygame.display.update. Or if you got an error, please tell me what kind of error that you are getting so that I can be able to assist. All right, so let me also try and get an error from my side, so that I show you what an error looks like. And then I want to ask you if you're getting this kind of an error. Okay, you see, for example, here, I'm not getting an error, right? Which is an attribute error. Module Pygame has no attribute display. So Esther, I also want you to tell me which error. It should tell you when it gives you an error. Normally, it gives you the kind of error that you're facing and where exactly that error is coming from. So if maybe you can share that error. So like you saw with my error, the error that I got, it guides me to where my error is. So where is it telling you that your error is? Maybe let me just do that again with a different error so that maybe you can tell us where your error is. For example, here, this will give me an indentation error, right? If I say run module, you see, this is a syntax error, expected an indented block. So I want you to give me the error that your laptop is giving you. Like here, it's saying invalid, it's syntax error, right? Because I didn't indent. So maybe tell us where your error is, and then maybe we can help you. Maybe error, you can Esther, you can let us know where you're receiving your error. Our time is up for today, so maybe we can help you with your error and then we end the lesson. All right, Esther. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Our time is up. Our lesson will be ending here today. So, Esther, I can see your error unindent does not match any outer unindentation level. So, with your code, for example, a while loop like this, right? Um, the code that makes the while loop functional should be indented. For example, here, our code, you see this one does not start exactly here, just under the while loop. Even for this one, it doesn't start here. So I think for you to help you, one thing that you can do, indent for you automatically. So I do this and then you just do this. It'll indent for you automatically. If you come here also, you do this. It'll also indent for you what? Automatically. For you automatically. If you also do this, it will also indent for you automatically. So now what I want to know is where it's leading you. For example, here, let me do this and run it again and then show you. Save, run module, right? Expected an indented block. So this will help you. And then in future, I will show you a simple trick that you can do. for you to indent your programs. So I'll just leave my email and number here as we left them yesterday. And then maybe we can assist you after the lesson time as well. You can also inbox Johnson so that he can also assist you. But please, everyone, for today, go and practice what we have learned. Those who are having trouble installing, go and install properly so that tomorrow, for tomorrow's lesson, we don't waste too much time. So for your assignment today, your first assignment is I want everyone to make sure that tomorrow when we come back for our first lesson, everyone can draw a rectangle and everyone can see their rectangle. So your rectangle can be any color. For tomorrow, I want us to have a blue rectangle showing. I'm just going to run again. As you can see, this is a red rectangle. So tomorrow, I want us all to show us a what? A blue rectangle. For example, run module, right? My rectangle is now blue. So our assignment is tomorrow, can we make sure that all our environments are installed properly, they are working properly? And then tomorrow, I want everyone to have a blue rectangle. Tomorrow, this is your first assignment. You have a blue rectangle. And then Esther, feel free to get in touch with myself or Danson so that we can help you. Please also be very early for tomorrow's lesson. Thank you so much. That's it for me today.